For a long time, I wavered from that passion, and I think I took the long way to get here. But after almost a decade, I'm here, I'm in vet school, and I've finally had the courage to chase the dream that I think always chose me growing up. I'm Amanda Mickelson. I'm a second career vet student at the University of Minnesota, and this is my story. I grew up on a farm in southeastern Minnesota, full of a lot of different animals. We had geese, pet pigs, dogs, bunnies. I was always messing around with wildlife. And at one point, we even had up to 27 different cats. I ended up rescuing a den of baby bunnies one time out of my lawn that had been abandoned, nursing them back to health and re-releasing them into our yard. But as a child growing up, I think all signs pointed to one direction, that I would be a veterinarian. When I was 15, disaster struck. My parents' marriage was dissolving and divorce was imminent and on the horizon. When I was 16, I found myself on my own. My mother had moved in with her new boyfriend, and my father no longer wanted me living at home on the farm where I grew up. I had to leave behind all of my animals. I found myself faced with the decision of how was I going to survive in this world, being 16 and on my own, alone. I looked at the prospect of going to vet school, the 8 years it would take me to get where I needed to be, the cost associated with it, and suddenly I had to put away my daydreams in order for practical purposes. I decided to go to business school. 3 years later, graduated from the University of Minnesota, summa cum laude and with distinction. Shortly thereafter, I started a Target Corporation, and I would end up spending the next 9 years there. Target taught me an incredible amount about being in a leadership role and also about how to lead a business both strategically and operationally. After being at Target for 9 years, we were notified that our entire division was being sold. In my mind, all I could think of is that this is it. This is my ticket. This is my chance to take those dreams that I had as a child and make them a reality. I started weighing up my financial options and started calculating that with the cost of vet school, the cost of not having a full-time job for 6 years, that this was gonna cost me around $750,000 to make this dream happen. So I'm 2 years into vet school now and 4 years into the journey that I look at as the 6-year journey overall. The 2 years of vet school have been incredibly challenging. I never thought I would be able to meet these limits that I now somehow find myself having to achieve. When I think about what keeps me going, all I have to ever do if ever I'm feeling like I've lost my drive is do something with animals or do something with the people that love the animals. The human-animal bond has become very important to me. I volunteer at a no-cost clinic and I see that bond between that human and that animal, and it brings me back to the animals I grew up with and what that bond meant for me. That gives me new fire, it gives me new ambition to keep going. I continue to try and figure out ways to finance school. 100% of my tuition will go on student loans. I'll end up paying back close to about $270,000 worth of student loans after interest is done. And it's scholarships like this that give me hope that financially this crippling scenario will get better and I'll be able to focus a little bit more on being the best student, mentor, future veterinarian that I can possibly be.